Hello there, my children. It's me, SCP-343, but you probably know me better as God. It's been strange lately, hasn't it? To the untrained eye, it seems like things are only getting crazier out there. Nothing seems certain or safe anymore. So, naturally, you've got questions for me. It makes sense in your position. I'd probably do the same thing. So let's see what burning queries are on your mind. And of course, I'll do my best to answer them. Indigo Wolf said, I'd ask me for instructions. What's the best way to raise SCP-999 to be ready for the Scarlet King, so we'd be fully prepared for his arrival? Ah, the Scarlet King. He is a nasty customer. I try to avoid associating with him when I can. Vibes are atrocious, and he certainly has some unpleasant plans for everything I've created if ever he gets his way. But to answer your question about how best to raise SCP-999, well, to me the answer is obvious. With love. The Scarlet King is a master of malice and savagery, and therefore malice and savagery cannot be used as tools against him. Only the light of love can burn out the hate hiding in the dark. Tyron Morgan, oh, hello Tyron, good to see you. You said, I'd ask, why does he choose to be at an SCP Foundation site rather than in the world helping people? Well, Tyron, there are many ways to help, and not all of them mean getting involved directly. A set of training wheels can help someone ride a bike, but they will never truly know how to ride until the training wheels are removed. What's that saying you all came up with? The Lord helps those who helps themselves? That I do. Clockwork Snowman, ooh, that is a fun name, said, I would ask me something about how I said it's not one of mine when asked about 682 and then who did make it. Well, there are certain details I'd rather not get into when discussing that thing. But all I can tell you is, whoever made it didn't make it with love. Beasts like that are perversions of the gift of creation. It doesn't even enjoy its own life. Is that any way to exist? We must pity it, if anything. Not 28 High said, I guess an interesting question would be, what do I think of atheists? Well, that depends on the atheist. I've known angelic atheists and monstrous believers, and of course vice versa. What matters most in life is that you are a good person, that you're kind and understanding to your fellow human beings, and that you leave the world a little better than you found it. Even if you don't believe in me, if you're a good person, I will believe in you. Chase Crow, oh, I do love your name, Chase. You said, are there any regrets that I have in terms of what my creation has become? Regret. It is an interesting word. The Greek playwright Agathon once said, only this is denied even to God, the power to make what has been done undone. I regret nothing of my past, because that past is beyond all of us. For what it's worth, I'm proud of all of you, and especially you, Chase. Irish Spartan Studios, ooh, that has a ring to it, said, I'd ask me, when will the Surviving Infinite IKEA video come out? It already has, my son. You see, patience is a virtue. Max's intense videos, now do be careful, Max said, is there any way to terminate the immortal lizard or at the very least make him not want to kill every living thing? Well, interesting, but I've gone on record saying this before, but that thing isn't one of mine. The SCP Foundation will have to figure out that nasty piece of work by themselves. Dr. Veronica said, I'd ask me, what's the name of the SCP doctor we see in all these videos with black hair, a black beard, and glasses? He's the one presenting anomalies to us more than anybody else, so he must be important. Oh, he's a charming fellow. We hang out every Wednesday and watch episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race on Netflix. I won't share his name out here out of respect for his privacy, but rest assured, you're in good hands with him. He also has a wonderful voice. Brandon Kaminari. Oh, hello again, Brandon. Thank you for showing up. You said, considering the Foundation's tendencies and devotion to their cause, other than the times I felt a divine duty to intervene, have I ever tried to convince the Foundation to cure something or someone, offer to completely destroy an item, or even make their work easier? You know, frankly, that isn't my place. The problem with ultimate power is that it means you can't really choose sides. To put my finger on the scale could lead to catastrophic effects. And if I save one person or even a handful of people, that means I'd need to save everyone all the time. And if I'm always saving everyone, you no longer have free will, Brandon. Mango Lad, what a fun name, said, I would ask me, is there any meaning to all the suffering and insanity we face every day? Do we matter on the grand scheme of things, or are we just pebbles on a road? My friend, my child, suffering has no inherent meaning. In fact, nothing does. But the beauty of that is that you get to choose your own meaning. Suffering can weaken or strengthen you. It only depends on the lessons you choose to take from it. And of course, you matter. In fact, you're made of matter, just like everything else. The meaning of that is up to you. Akino said, I would ask me about the disease that SCP-049 is trying to cure. The pestilence? Pfft, he was always a neat freak, that one. I can't say I know what he's obsessed with, but I can only hope that the SCP Foundation someday cures him of his germophobia. Chrysias said, as much as I'd love to ask me about other SCPs or deep existential questions, I would rather just chill peacefully with me while we eat hamburgers. Chrysia, that certainly sounds like a pleasant afternoon to me. You should swing by again sometime and we'll hang out. Especially if you buy the hamburgers this time. Don't lie to me, my child, I knew you had your wallet on you. Speedy Lurchik said, I think my question would be, how can I still be so kind in the face of the cruelty on this planet? How come I don't become bitter or desperate or angry? Well, my child, nobody's perfect. Not even me. There are certainly times that I do feel desperate, bitter, and angry. But what is important to remember is that this doesn't have to stop you from being kind. In a cruel world, you can choose to either be a part of the cruelty or be one of the brave people standing against it. Don't feel bad for being angry. Let it pass. Pick yourself back up and carry on with a smile. Ken V. Oh, Kenneth, good to see you. You said, I would ask me if there is any SCP that I fear and or is unwilling to approach for any particular reason. Well, there's no SCP I wouldn't approach, but there are definitely some I don't like having in my company. Have you seen that slimy old man from cell 106? Oof, incredibly unpleasant fellow. Antonio Ricardo Moncada Osorio, hello there my friend, said, can I have a big chocolate bar? That's the question I would ask before probably thinking up something existential. Well, Antonio, that all depends on your answer to my next question. What is your favorite kind of chocolate? You never told me after all. Daniel Flores said, ever since I read about me, I've actually always wanted to sit and play chess with me. No better practice than God. Well, you know what they say, failure is the best teacher, and if you play chess with me, you're sure to receive it. I don't go easy, my son. Certain Words, what an interesting name, said, a simple question. What is my purpose? Just so I can rest easy with my end destination known. Your purpose, my child, is to use your enthusiasm and your skills to make yourself happy and make the world a better place. How exactly you do that is up to you, kid. Good luck. Christina Jones, oh, it's been a while, hello, said, how can I live forever? Then I would spend the rest of our day talking about distant galaxies and theoretical physics. My child, you don't want to live forever. Life seems awfully short to happy people because time flies when you're having fun. Conversely, you won't find anything duller than eternity. However, I'll definitely take you up on that distant galaxies and theoretical physics conversation. Lizzie Les Enton said, honestly, I would just ask, God, why I let the world go to hell. I'm a Christian and I know God believes in free will and letting the world do its own thing, but sometimes I really wonder why I would let some of the bad things happen to good people or happen in general. Well, Liz, it is a tragedy, really. The problem of evil. Why do the good suffer while the bad prosper? Why does cruelty exist? Why are some fortunate and others seem doomed from birth? Evil is the dark residue of free will, the ability for one to choose their path in life. It hurts, and my heart aches for its victims. But without choice, there would be no evil and no good. You'd cease to even be human, and I could never do that to you. Royal Frosty said, I would ask me on a date, having the ultimate SCP boyfriend. Oh, I'm flattered by the sentiment, but I see you all as my children, so I'd hate to make it weird. L. Squishy said, I want to ask me simply if I'm doing okay so far in life. Oh, and ask if I have any good recipes. I bet I do. You're doing just fine. And as long as you keep love in your heart and do everything you do with the goal of bettering this world for yourself and others, you'll continue to do splendidly. And yes, I know many good recipes. I owe it to my voracious reading of Anthony Bourdain's books. May rest his soul. Gilda said, God, why am I so deeply miserable and unable to enjoy or do anything of importance anymore? Gilda, my child, you might have depression. Speak to some friends and loved ones about this, and see a therapist if possible. I love you, and you're not alone. Just keep going, and I believe in you. Murdoch said, with me being the all-powerful creator of the universe, yes I am, I would of course ask me, what's the deal with airline food? I see you two have been watching Seinfeld. However, my child, the altitude, high decibel level, and stale air of a plane environment weaken your ability to register salty and sweet tastes, causing food consumed on a plane to appear more bland and flavorless than food consumed while on the ground. Hope that clears it up for you, my child. Pyrotechie, really quickly, please stop playing with matches, said, I'd ask to be granted my powers for a day, just to see from my perspective, though I might be terminated after. Oh, there's a delightful Jim Carrey film called Bruce Almighty about why this desire isn't what it's cracked up to be. I can safely say that Morgan Freeman also does a wonderful job representing yours truly. Alexander Berry said, Is my fate already determined, or am I able to choose mine? It is as determined as you want it to be, Alexander. If you give yourself in and refuse to make your own choices, then your fate ceases to be yours to control. But if you choose and fight for your choice, then your fate is all your own. Decade Gaming said, I would tell me to give me infinite pizza. Well, that may be a waste of my divine powers, my child, when SCP-458 the never-ending pizza box exists. The Gaming Bear said, I would ask where you could find the best hamburger. Ooh, yes, this is a good one. There are plenty of decent places to get a hamburger on this fine earth. But personally, I'm a fan of either Five Guys or In-N-Out. Gamefowler said, Does Satan exist? Satan? In the sense of a being who exists to tempt the weaker members of mankind to evil and corruption? Let me tell you, my child, those people don't need the help. Henry Galley said, I have a question for God. Why? Well, first off, I appreciate the reference to Filthy Frank, but I'm afraid that's one you're going to need to figure out yourself. Thank you for all the questions, they've given me a lot to ponder. Take it from your creator. Life is a lot more interesting when you're curious, so never let the world beat that out of you. Little disclaimer from the Foundation here. Whether this particular anomaly is actually God himself or simply a very powerful reality warper, it's a distinction we're not fully comfortable making. Perhaps taking his words with a little pinch of salt may be in order. Now go check out SCP-096, look at a picture of Shy Guy in Space, the Shy Guy Questions and Theories, and SCP-049, What Actually is the Pestilence, the Plague Doctor Questions and Theories, and keep an eye on our community tab for more chances to take part in a video like this one.